No, that's not how it works, sadly. If you watch videos that are related to mine, chances are you've probably seen videos on the side of this new Super Mario Bros. Looking game for the SNES. This has been in the back of my mind for a while, and I'm honestly not sure why I haven't looked into it sooner. 2017 was the year I discovered flashcards, and to be completely honest, they blew me away. Before this, I was very naive and didn't realize it was this simple to play ROMs on the original hardware. I copped an SD to SNES and had a ton of fun playing ROM hacks on the actual Super Nintendo hardware. I was always curious if any ROM hacks existed that used the new Super Mario Bros. Art style and possibly implemented pre-rendered sprites, just like Donkey Kong Country. I was able to find this hack called New Retro Mario Bros, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Still a decent hack here. This is basically a remake of the original Super Mario Bros. In the NES, but using the Super Mario World engine. The main thing bothering me here was the Mario sprites. They just didn't seem to fit at all. I stopped looking for hacks like these, but yeah, eventually this new Super Mario Land thing caught my attention as it flooded my recommended tab. Now, before I get into anything about this game, let's talk about its history. So, to clear things up because I haven't mentioned this yet, this is not a ROM hack. The creator of this game said in an interview on Nintendo Life, the game itself was developed just like the bulk of commercial SNES games were developed back in the 90s. Programmed from scratch in assembly language using a text editor on PC, with custom-made tools to convert data such as graphics, music, and levels into a format the SNES is able to use. The crucial difference is that today, we have powerful SNES emulators that speed up the build and test iteration and have tons of useful debugging features. Moving on, you are probably wondering why this person spent their time programming a game for a console nearly 30 years old. The answer to this is that this game was simply a Christmas gift for his friends. I wish I had a friend like this. Also, you've probably noticed by now that I've yet to mention the person behind this game. That's because the creator wishes to remain anonymous. At first I was confused by this decision, but then I realized that this is a Nintendo fan game. And Nintendo loves fan games. And yeah, that being said, I'm not going to provide a link to this, I'm sorry, but if you want to, just look up New Super Mario Land, and if you have a brain, you should find it pretty easily. Alright, enough of that, and I know you probably don't care, but what do I think about this game? I was able to load the ROM just fine on my SD to SNES and started it. Instantly. I was greeted to the fact that there are no files, meaning there is no way to save the game, and you just jump right into it. I was also confused as to why the first stage was a sand level, but I'll get to that later. The game seemed to run just fine. I was also really impressed with the programming knowledge this guy must have had to create this, especially with the bonus game and stuff. I picked up a fire flower and was confused why Mario's colors didn't change and he shot these weird balls that reflect off of surfaces. I was also confused as to why the music sounded so familiar, but I just couldn't pinpoint where it was from. Later on, my game crashed and that was pretty annoying. I played again just fine. This is the only crash I ever experienced, but it still gave me a bad impression and I was kind of scared of wasting time playing it again, only to be greeted with yet another crash. As mentioned, luckily this is not the case. I'm not sure what made me figure it out, but eventually I finally realized why everything in this game felt so off yet seemed so familiar at the same time. I realized that this game was a remake of Super Mario Land on the original Game Boy, a game which I have never played but I'm sure everyone has seen it or heard the music at some point in their lives. I initially thought this was just some custom Mario game with new ideas created from scratch, but I was wrong. I was going to critique some of the level designs, but now knowing that this is a remake of an already established game, that's pretty pointless, considering the person who made this remake has nothing to do with the level designs. This game certainly gets the job done and it looks pretty amazing for the Super Nintendo hardware. The flying sections were also pretty cool and so were the pre-rendered sprites for the enemies. I'm going to assume a lot of these were custom made since they don't appear in New Super Mario Bros. Or whatever. If I were to say anything negative about this game, it would be that when you die, you get placed at weird checkpoints that aren't even labeled. In most 2D platformers, your instinct is to pretty much always hold right, but in this game, that will get you killed. I have no idea if it is like this in the original Mario Land, but I seriously cannot be asked to play it. Also, keep in mind that this is a homebrew game. Sometimes it can feel a little bootleggy, and sometimes the movement can feel unnatural. Because of this, it makes me question why this was even a homebrew game and not a Mario World ROM hack or something. The person behind this game could probably have more experience creating homebrew games like this, which could answer the question, but I just feel as if making the ROM hack would be easier. But anyway, my opinion doesn't really matter in this stuff since I have no clue about game design and ROM hacking, etc. Despite all this, I still applaud the person behind this game. Not only is he not taking any credit for it, this dude just literally made it as a Christmas gift. I'm also glad to say I kind of know what Super Mario Land is like because I'm sorry, but I refuse to play a 30-year-old game in a black and white handheld.